Welcome, it's the Nick and Matt Show, number 5. Welcome, coming in your living room. It's Nick Papagni, Matt Johnson, the Matty J, the Pag Meter. Glad you could be with us today. It's going to be a great show, Matt, because we got the Pag Meter Player of the Year, Vance Sams III. He's going to join us a little later.
Oh, the big fella.
You met him before?
I know him fairly well. He's a good young man, and actually got a chance to coach him a little bit.
Will he bring?
And he coached me along the way. Just a great story, Vance Sams III.
Will we bring his Humboldt State in? Maybe some gear we could see.
He'll be wearing his Humboldt State gear. He told me, he promised me when he comes into for his shot, he'll be having Humboldt State. He'll be representing. I saw him driving around town the other day, and he's got a nice Humboldt State sticker in his car.
Oh.
He's ready to be a lumberjack.
Humboldt, the Lumberjacks got a good one there. So we'll have to go make a little road trip to see him. It is really about, 1 to 2 weeks away from actual football season starting. The Pag Meter's top 25 is going to be coming out soon, but it's on.
It is. We're gearing up. We're at that stage where it's condition only. There's still.
What does that mean?
Well, take the football. The rules. No sports specific training.
Who
breaking in out 11 on 11. That's part of CIF. That's
who gives
policy.
That? The chemistry teacher comes over. Hey Matt, I got an email that says you guys can't go play football until August the 3rd. What else? Who knows?
You know, we just follow the rules, as all coaches probably try to do the same thing. I did actually have to really revamp the way we work, but we just went into circuits and let everybody get in shape, running circuits around and getting themselves as healthy as they can be as we take a week off and get prepared to go on August 3rd.
Give us a little Tiger tip here. How are we looking? The defending Valley champions.
Yeah.
Young, old.
Well, we're not. We're young, but then on certain parts we're seasoned veterans, young and old. We are a healthy mix of an upcoming group that I truly believe will have an opportunity to win multiple titles in our section. And then there's a group of seniors that are going to try to recapture the glory of last year. And I think there's enough to at least be competitive to make a run. I really, truly believe that.
I have a feeling when the Pag Meter does his early rankings, there's really not a number one team. There's going to be about 5 number one teams going to be clunked in together. This is a wide open year in a lot of divisions.
Yeah, truly. I have some favorites, obviously, just from a pure, it's hard for me to be a head coach of a school and then also to be a neutral observer of schools. But I'm really, really impressed with the returning group that Liberty Bakersfield has back, Nick. I'm obviously very impressed, as I am pretty much every year, with the job Rich Hammond does at Clovis. Well, Clovis is going to be very talented. And then
you just give away my rankings right now, or what are you doing?
Well, this is my turn now. You can talk your rankings later. Right. I don't know how it actually shapes up yet.
Well, I'm just giving you.
Really. Yeah. I did not know that. I'm just giving you a little capsule, and then of course
I got a bet,
my other schools out there that I really like. I really like George Petroson's over at Clovis West.
They're going to be in the top 5.
Yeah, and then of course. Big Don Arax and his Bullard Fighting Knights, they're going to be
in the top 5. You're on fire right now. And a little team called the Bakersfield Drillers are going to be right there.
Well, I was just going to go there. And this is a no order now. When you got after Liberty and Clovis, I really like those as my kind of 1s and 2 areas. But then you might match in my Tigers, you match in the Bakersfield Drillers, you bring in the Buchanan Bears, who I think are going to be really a sleeper pick, if you will. A lot of people in the inside, myself included, know what they're capable of.
Well, defensively,
and how soon do we forget a couple squads, one by the name of the Clovis North Broncos, who just a couple years ago were knocking on the championship door every year, it seemed like. So it's going to be, as you said, a wide open race.
It really is. We're talking Division I now. Liberty, I'm going to just give you a little heads up. Liberty will be my number 1 team to start the year, and I like returning quarterbacks, and that's the reason why Jordan Love comes back. He impressed the heck out of me last year against the Edison Tigers in the Valley Championship game. You guys beat the tar out of him, and he still stood in the pocket and showed me a lot of courage, I guess you can say, where a lot of other quarterbacks would have had happy feet. So I'm thinking you give him a year or 6 months, 8, whatever it is, to get ready for a senior year. That kid's good.
Well, you said it. I mean, the favorites, whether it's National Football League, college football, or high school, or youth and junior high Pee Wee football, you go with the quarterback. If you have a returner, which they do have, who's been battle-tested in the biggest game for us, the Valley Championship game, that certainly bodes well for the Patriots.
Yes. Clovis Cougars are going to be my number 2 team. They come in loaded from last year. Everyone's coming back. If they get some quarterback play, would not be surprised if Clovis is playing in the Valley Championship. You talked about
they're going to be playing with the little chip on their shoulder. I mean, had an opportunity to visit. Great lecture given by Sean Wills, whose son JJ is a great wide receiver for Clovis High School. Sean Wills with the California Highway Patrol, great man, came in and talked to some of our kids. But he still talks a lot about that game against our Tigers and how they were right there getting ready to hopefully cash the big one in, and 6-7 minutes we got it done. But
14-0 lead with 7 minutes to go.
That kind of a finish typically in all of athletics leads you into a promising year because you don't forget things like that.
Another team, you mentioned the Bullard Knights. You got Jack Taylor, you got Charles Williams coming back. They're Ben Baker, the
linebacker.
All-state linebacker is a sophomore. Is coming back. Bullard's going to be loaded. You mentioned Clovis West with George's team, Petrosans. They're all coming back. They get quarterback play. Watch out. And the Bakersfield Drillers, every other year, they're good. And this is their year. If they get quarterback play, the Drillers are going to be right there. If they don't,
every year they're good. But you're right. But every other year it seems like they're right there getting ready to win another title.
The Buchanan Bears going to have one of the top defenses. Can they get the offense going this year? If they do, watch out for the Bears. You mentioned Clovis North. They're going to be young, but watch out because they're going to be they're always Clovis North. Something about those uniforms that make them intimidation going on. They're good.
Yeah, there's after the couple that we mentioned early, maybe only one, maybe Liberty, who will be the prohibitive favorite. Love their schedule.
But not by much, though.
Not by much. Yeah. Anybody can get beat in those top 6-7 teams we talked about.
Yeah, Jason Lee leads the Clovis North Broncos. And you know, there's some teams that, well, let's have to see. I think Centennial is going to be very good. If they get quarterback play as well, you watch out for the Golden Hawks. I know they were young last year. There's a lot of what-ifs this year. Division II, same thing.
Frontier, you never know.
Frontier as well. Division II, Ridgeview has got to be the favorite along with Dinuba again. They played 3 straight years. That's going to be good. Division III, Hanford has got to be clearly my number one team in Division III. That team is coming back and they're loaded.
They could compete in Division I, II, or III. The fact that they're Division III is
well, let me ask
puzzling.
You this, because about sooner or later, I think they're going to have to change up. Ridgeview's got to be in Division I soon, right?
Well, we talk about this seemingly every week, every month, every year. Ideally, no one knows, but you certainly know after you've played 10 ball games, you get ready for the playoffs. Reseed the tournament. It's a hot topic that we always
that'd
address.
Be nice.
But reseed the tournament.
We talked about that.
If we truly are, which obviously we are, working for this parity, this balance between the haves and the have-nots, then let's have a single tournament in Division I, II, III, and IV, and V, and VI. But let's put the most deserving and best teams in each division that need to be there. I've just never figured out how a school with an enrollment of, let's say, just south of 2,000, right, can play in a division like Division III when they can compete in Division I or II. We just can't ever seem to get the seedings right, get the levels of competition right. The only way to do that is to have a model where at the end of the season, an independent panel reevaluates on strength of schedule, strength of the record, how they're doing, and make a real judgment that's based on fairness, because that's where we're going. I don't like that idea, but since we've gone to this area that everyone makes the playoffs, Nick, that everybody is vying for something, then let's have that Division I hunt be the best. So we don't have to sit around in parties around town, communities, and always guess, well, we won, and we might have, well, let's just all put the best in Division I, the next level below that, Division II, the next below that, Division III.
Well, here's catch-22, and there's 2 reasons. We're looking for some teams are probably building for a state title. Ridgeview could be one of them. Number 2 is the track will never go for it because they are together, the Clovis schools are together, and if, you know, I don't know, if, let's say Clovis East, they've been struggling for a while. If they go 2-8 again, do you really think track's going to let them play Division II or Division III playoffs? That will never happen. Well, they do not want that to happen. But that's why you got track all together.
But that, I can only answer for my shoes. But that's a slap in the face of Division II then. Well, because what would be the reason for them not to try to play Division II in a football playoff scenario?
Well, it's
because they think that that's beneath them, or I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm not putting words in their mouth. They have probably a reason for it that I don't know about, obviously. But why do you have to hold true to this Division I? If you were true to that, then you wouldn't participate in the playoffs. If you had a bad year, you would say we're going to opt out of the playoffs this year.
Well, let me ask you: when you and Tim McDonald took over the Edison Tigers, how many years ago? 2000, 2005. I don't even know what year. What was it?
2001.
2001, and you played a Ridgeview schedule. You didn't. I mean, Ridgeview's up their schedule because they're playing Liberty and Bakersfield. That's a nice schedule. You didn't have that schedule, but what did you guys tell yourself?
No, we immediately bumped our schedule.
You were playing an NYL schedule at the time.
No, we were playing NYL conference play. Our schedule was, at the time, Bullard, who was not in our deal. They were in the track. We played Clovis West. We played Centennial Bakersfield.
So before you got there, that was your schedule?
Yeah, we came in. It was those 5 conference games where we used to play Hoover, McLean, Sunnyside.
That's what I'm talking about. But
the non-conference. Now what we did is we immediately the next year said, no, we want to be in Division I. They moved us up, and we took up because.
Well, you're not
competition.
Battle tested at the end of the year.
Competition is what it's all about, and that's not to say that we weren't competing. Hoover at that time was really, really good. McLean was a little tough, and Fresno High and Roosevelt.
But you wanted to compete against the top teams in the Valley.
Yeah, it's how we wanted it. Our community-based fans, spectators wanted it. They wanted us to go toe to toe.
But you didn't have what I'm asking. You didn't have the numbers.
No, we were about 1,700 to 2,000 kids at that time, and when you take out the whole other side of our campus, which is what you would call a Computech side, we're about a 1,100 enrollment school when it comes down to the world of football.
I always tell people that because Edison, really the whole school you have 2,800 kids, but it's a Computech and Edison.
Well, we have 2,800 now.
2,800.
We have a junior high school now that will put our numbers right up there in that 2,800 range.
But technically, it's not really. It's Edison and a Computech.
Well,
how many Computech kids do play football?
Well, any school can claim that there are the football or basketball or track or baseball people, and then there's kids that don't want to play. I'm just saying that a lot of people don't really truly understand the inner workings of the diverse nature of our campus.
Well, my next question stems from everyone makes the playoffs. We have 6 divisions because we have to have 6 champs, even though Division I is you're going to be your Valley champ. Sorry, it's the way it is. You have Division 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or section champions. But it starts when they're 6 years old, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to 15. You play soccer, you play Little League. Even if you finish last, you're getting a trophy. What is your feeling as a coach, as kids growing up? Is it good that every year the kid gets a trophy, win or lose? If you're a champion or if you're in last place, if you go into Me and Ed's and have a pizza, or to Chico's and have a pizza, and Team A's over there is undefeated and they got a trophy, and Team B's over here who went 1-14 still getting a trophy, is that good for kids?
I'm not a psychologist. I don't know if it's good for kids. I really don't think I'm in the proper position to answer that. But once again, it's strictly an opinion. My opinion tells me it's not good. The end result is you have to teach the young student athletes, if you will, the difference between earning that championship or earning that trophy as opposed to letting it be handed to you. And then you start feeling entitled that you're due something every year, when in reality, the only thing you're entitled to is your effort and how you're going to work. That's what you give each day, fighting for that dream of being a champion, a winner, or at least being a competitor that puts it all out there on the field to play every time. I think we've kind of created this, should I say, soft society in the world of some of these sports, to where they've taken away a little bit of the toughness of what real hard knocks, hard life lessons really are.
Well, or you're
that's my opinion. Yeah. There's a lot of guys in my area in the coaching circles. We all agree. Matter of fact, if we pulled 10 of those head coaches of the teams we've already talked about, just pick any 10 random, I guarantee you 90% to everyone's going to agree with that.
Yeah, I would say it's probably closer to 100%.
You have to accept that there's nothing wrong with being denied and having someone say you weren't good enough. That builds character, in my opinion.
I would say, if I'm a coach, building confidence to a player and keep working with him, and instead of giving the kid, well, we lost, guys. Hey, Billy, bring it up right here. We went 2-11 this year. We had a good year. Let's go get some pizza. You're not getting the trophy. We worked hard. Next year, let's try it again. Instead of saying, Gary, here's your trophy. And he goes, oh, that's great. Next. And he goes home and throws it in a box. It doesn't mean anything.
But the youth trophy, the little guy's trophy, my daughter got one. My son got one.
Where's it at?
In my year, we didn't get one. Well, I don't know. It's
exactly. You don't know.
That doesn't matter.
How old were you when you got a trophy? Your first one. I was 15.
Junior high, maybe. We won. I mean, we won a junior high basketball deal. We got a trophy. I got lots of ribbons, growing up at track events as a kid. But what I was trying to say, Nick, is that I think the bigger deal is, and we're beating this up a little bit, but let's move to what I think is really most important. This concept that everyone goes to the playoffs. That is, that goes
drives you batty.
Because it goes directly against what playoffs means. Playoffs is an earned right that you perform. You can take section or league champions, conference champs, take some at-large bids, and you can do that. Now, on the other side,
though, high school now?
High school. Okay. To stick up for what we do now, I must say, and I'm not in the offices of the CIF here, local central section, but it has to be something that it's needed to continue to fund the operation, to fund what we're doing as high school athletics awareness and all the programs we have going on now. There's probably a little bit of a cash flow deficiency if you ran it simply as a 4 or 5 teams in each level of playoffs. The fact they can bring everyone to the party certainly has to help financially, and I'm not knocking that because we know where I coach at, bringing the money in from playoffs and all that is very important. It hurts us when they take money away for football scandals or something like that. We've already talked about that. So certainly they need the money.
Go to show number 1 and he'll explain to you the Centennial.
Because I don't have it. I'm broke.
Well, here's the reason why. If you all wonder out there why everyone's invited to the playoffs, again, it stems back from the track. Mr. Lindsay went to the CIF and said, we want to form our own schools, all on track together, but if we do this, we want everyone to make the playoffs. And the CIF said, you got it. I love that idea. Let's leave the track together. And you know what? Our life's easier. Everybody goes to the playoffs. Now, on the other side,
is this something that you just pulled out of your?
No, it's
you know what, or was this something?
Truth. The CIF and Dennis Lindsay, who used to run Clovis Unified, said if we're going to do this, and one of the schools in Clovis goes 1-9, I still want them to participate in the playoffs because the track they feel is by far the toughest league around. So it's not fair for them if they only won 1 game.
Once again, if I ever see a less than 500 club
here's the other
win the Division One championships, then I will give them that.
Okay, well
it's not going to happen, folks.
Let's do the catch-22.
Too many good football teams out there right now. Too many good basketball. Too many big programs, baseball. That's not going to happen.
You got the CMAC. You got Edison, Bullard, Sanger, who's going to be in the top 1 or 2 in Division II. You've got Madera South, and San Joaquin Memorial. Well, Memorial's now Division III. Madera's Division III, and so is Madera South. So what do you do with poor Madera South, who has to play against who they've struggled the last 5 years? They're not going to win a lot of games in the CMAC. They might win it this year. Their goal probably is to win 3 games. Probably won't beat Edison or Bullard, but they have a shot against Madera and Memorial, and maybe Sanger. But what do you do with a team like that? They're going to say, hey, we have to play in the CMAC. We're Division III. That's not right. This is why I think they said, you know what? We're all going to the playoffs. That way you have Division IIIs playing. Even though in Bakersfield you got a power league, all the D1 teams play together.
So when Clovis eventually, sooner than later, opens up another high school, will that be the complete deal? They will knock Central out?
Then I would say the CMAC would be stronger. You put Central in the CMAC. I've been telling the High Wigs, everybody in Central Unified, you need to get to the CMAC and put Madera South back in the track. In the NYL, or bring Sunnyside over. I don't know why Sunnyside's not in the CMAC. You put Central in the CMAC along with Sanger, Bullard, and Edison, and that's by far a tougher league than the track. Sorry. That would be by far. Central's going to struggle in all the sports in the track. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. If they go in the CMAC, they'll be better, more competitive. That's my 2 cents worth.
Yep.
The other one I want to talk about And in fact, let's take a break. Let's come back with Vance Sams, and we'll bring up other topics.
Perfect.
When we come back, the Player of the Year, Vance Sams, will be joining us next. The Pag Meter Player of the Year from the Edison Tigers. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. I want to thank Rain for Rent for sponsoring the Nick and Matt show here on July the 17th, 2015. It's Matt Johnson over there, Matty J, some people call him, Nick Papagni, the Pag Meter. Vance Sams III's in the house. Vance, I got to ask you the first question. Is that the fourth quickest year ever? You started as a freshman, now you already graduated. Did it feel like just high school flew by?
Yeah, high school flew by, especially when you're playing football in school and you steadily doing stuff, and then in the summer you're doing football, you don't get much time off, so I just have the time to go by faster.
Well, Vance started as a sophomore and had a heck of a career, and it has flown by, but that sophomore year you were kind of had some hesitation thinking you might want to leave school, or you were going through some struggles with wanting to go stay at Edison or not stay at Edison. I'm glad you did. But tell me a little bit as you grow. I'm more interested, Vance, as I always am with all of our players, hearing about growing up as a youngster, your youth football experience, all the different positions you played. Kind of give us a chronological order up till today's date that led you to this spot you're at today.
Okay, probably like 4 years old, my dad put me in flag football in the Square Youth Center. And I played quarterback there, little flag
Quarterback, I like it.
Yeah. I got more quarterback experience, so I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
We all played there, and then I got bigger as time went by, so I got to play tackle football at Fresno High, and played D-lineman there, and that was pretty much it. And then middle school, elementary school came, and I got to play for my school. I went to 7 different elementary schools, so I didn't have to stick.
7?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was 7.
It was. I did it. Unfortunately, made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But 5th and 6th grade year, I played quarterback again. Went to the city championships, threw a pick at the last second to cost us the championship game.
Still eats at you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just quit quarterback.
That's
pressure.
Pressure's on.
Yeah.
People don't realize. You have eating disorders sometimes after that, so can't sleep with it.
I ate 2 whole pizzas because that
Wake up, you go, it was open! Oh, sorry, go back to that.
it makes you bad. Then went to Sonata Middle School, got to play for some good coaches, Monty Olsen and Coach Ray Allen and stuff like that. Sonata Middle School, and then that feeds on to Bullitt High School, which 98 Lights came in here and swooped me, put me into the Bullitt High School freshman year. Played JV and then got moved up to varsity in the playoffs, then played down. So I ended up quitting that right before the Valley Championship game. Went to go play basketball. But we ended up getting brought in the championship game anyway, so it wasn't really a loss. But I didn't really feel the vibe at Bullitt. You know, my whole family went to Edison. I lived on the west side and stuff like that, so Edison was just a place for me to go. So I went to Edison, made a name for myself at the start, sophomore year. Did very good against Clovis High, game opener, stuff like that. It was a tough season, but I got through it. But at the end of the season, we lost our coach, Ricky Manning. And,
We've had a lot of coaches over there at Edison.
yeah. They don't stay long.
Yeah. Vance Sams III was a Pag Meter Player of the Year middle linebacker, you win the Valley Championship for the first time at Edison since 1975. How did that? I mean, you have a whole Northwest Fresno. I mean, it's pressure's on for you guys.
Yeah.
But your defense is one of the best I've ever seen. Well, what kind of pressure did some of the guys put on you? Some of your players, because you were the team leader.
Yeah. It wasn't much pressure on me because as a leader, I wasn't really a big yeller and vocal leader. I just led by example. So a lot of guys just followed behind me as when I played them, how I did on the field and in practice. I'm not a practice player. I didn't really like practice much, but for a team effort, I had to put my ego aside and really perform in practice and in the game. So there was a lot of pressure, especially from all the fans and boosters and everybody else outside of the football team. But we persevered and got through it.
Well, Matt Johnson's not listening. You're head coach. You've had a lot of coaches. Tell me about Matt. No one's even listening right now, but what kind of guy is Matty J?
Matt is the coolest coach I've had so far out of all my football experience.
What makes him so cool?
he's a laid-back kind of coach. Like his coaching style is laid back. He don't get too raw. He gets raw when he needs to, but he's a great people person. He can talk. He can talk a cat off a fish wagon. You know, he's a great people person.
Cat off a fish wagon.
Got a new one, Nick.
Cat off a fish wagon.
Nick, what impresses me most about Vance, how we know he's going to be successful in whatever he does, is that a lot of young guys have their whole life wrapped up in that one thing. Well, Vance is starting, as he's grown older, and I've got a chance to witness him grow up a little bit in the 2 seasons he's been with us, where his whole life's not completely wrapped around football. He's got other dreams and aspirations, and when I say that is that it allows him to look a little bit forward more into his future rather than just being so wrapped into football. And there's nothing wrong with being wrapped into football, but you have to know that one day football will end. So I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I think he's going to do great things in college. And that was the end game, and I'm so proud that Vance and his family and all the supporters know that he's going off to college. So
tell them where you're going.
Humboldt State University.
Why did you decide that?
The school, the location of the school was perfect as who I am, and the linebacker position there is not deep, so I have a chance to play early there. And then the coaching staff is great. I just feel comfortable going to that school.
You know, you're a guy who really helps you out a lot. I grew up with Mike Ryan, who's here tonight at Menads, but Mike tells me, you're close to Eureka up there in the hills. It's the weather's 65 degrees right now. You're getting out of this hot weather. Tell me about Mike. What has Mike Ryan done for you?
Mike has helped me out a lot personally in life. He's helped me mature also, and made me look at the bigger picture in life. Everything in life doesn't go like that. And, you have struggles here and there, but he's helped me to show that you just keep going through stuff and then positive things will happen.
What would you like to do after football someday? Come back coach with Matty J, or what are you thinking?
If he gave me the job opportunity, I want to be a homicide detective.
Oh, there you go.
I love football. I wish I could play football for the rest of my life, but it just don't work like that. So I majored in criminology. Hopefully I'll be a homicide detective, and that's what I plan on doing after football.
Okay, now football, college is a little different high school. I mean, you said you don't like to practice, and I know Humboldt State, it's going to be a job now for you.
Yes.
Are you ready to get the yes sir going and do whatever the coaches are saying?
I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm prepared.
So it's going to be those days because you're far away from home. So, and I think Matt, as you played at USC. Maybe I think as a coach, you're perfect for some of these guys that are going away. What's it like? You're away from home. You went to what's he going to be prepared for?
Number one, we talk all the time. All the great young men that represent our program, they're going, whether it's junior college or whatever school they're going to, is the transition is number one. Get used to it. What Vance has said, and with the players, Matty J, Coach Johnson, I am a little bit more laid back because I want the guys to enjoy their time in high school and all that. And football can be a little, obviously in our town, tedious to say the least. But they're going to have to get ready to work. Work is harder than they ever have before. And then, quite honestly, they're going to have to be ready for that feeling of being away from home, that homesickness. It hits us all. And Vance will tell you, I preached to all of them, get ready. Now, in this guy's case, he said, don't worry about me. There's not going to be, there'll be homesickness, but I'm not coming home. He's trying to get on with his life and graduate from college, but it's inevitable. You'll be laying in your dorm or your room at night, and you start missing home. And that's, to me, is the biggest transition. I don't care where you're going.
Well, the beautiful thing about when we had to go away from home, it would cost us $1.19 a minute to talk on the phone. You've got phones now; it's easy. You could Skype. You could talk to your lovely girlfriend every night till you go to bed. I mean, that's you don't miss a beat. But remember back in the day, you're call. I got 1 minute left. I mean, that's just how it used to be. So you got the big advantage there.
That is true. Technology keeps everyone close. That's for sure.
So what did you weigh? Let's look at when you were a sophomore. What did you weigh?
225.
What do you weigh right now?
243.
And what does Humboldt State want you to be at?
They didn't give me a design weight, but they gave me a design look. They want me to come in more toned and basically just come in shape. So I would like to play at 235 though.
Are you getting in shape now? Because this is big time. So okay, gotcha. Because you're a big guy. You're very wide. I mean, I can't even see Matt from here. Is Matt here? No, Matt.
Let's not forget, Nick. Vance might not want to hear this, but
if push comes to shove, and he'll decide that. But no, he was the best left tackle, I believe, in the whole Valley. That's why he was the most valuable player, the player of the year. We're not just talking for his defensive exploits. He can get down and play guard, center, tackle, nose, left, a 5-shade technique on the front. He's versatile in that. And I was talking to all the colleges, and I kept telling them, because they would look at Vance, because he was without question the biggest, the bear. I mean, he was the imposing defensive figure in the middle of our defense. So he was a tweener. Do we put him down, Coach? You think he could play the DN, D tackle? So there was a lot of talk about what he can do, and he's a naturally gifted inside linebacker. But he is, when you say wide, he has a frame that could go either way, and which I think is a blessing. And some schools might look at it like, I don't know, Coach. I'm thinking, hello, it's your job to get him where you need to get him. Would you rather have the guy like me that was, I can do one thing, I can be skinny and be skinny. And he's got a chance to be lower or bigger. He can go both ways with it.
What do you compare him at? Let me ask Matt, because
I'm not going to put him on the spot, but without question, he did stuff on the football field. You talked about Mike Ryan and all the guys who are really, really close to Vance, family members, you name it. They all know that he has a nasty side. This nice guy right here, this teddy bear guy right here, he has a nasty. When I was growing up, you wanted to show up with bad intentions. He shows up bad intentions. He's trying to knock the fillings out of the dude he's hitting. That's his wild side. And when he controls that and keeps that rage perfectly within his boundaries, there's never been, I mean this sincerely, and you can help me out, Nick, you've been in the Valley longer than I have, he's as good as inside linebacker that's ever played here in this town.
Well, I'm about to say again, this is one of the top defenses we've ever had.
Yeah.
As long as I've been watching football, this Edison team, and that's a big reason why you guys won the Valley, and no one ran in the middle. So you're going to beat Edison. Yeah, you're not going to allow it. So you're going to have to throw. Well, you can't throw. You got Tyler Horton back there. And you got your defensive front. That was one heck of a defense. Give us some, what's that big game this year that really is going to stand out from the Valley Championship down to game one? You lost only one game to Sanger, but what's the one game that really stands out that you're going to remember in the next 15 years?
Always hard.
It's down 14-0 at the half.
Was it 14-11 with 7 minutes left?
Yeah, 7 minutes to go. So what happened? You just warmed down? What did you guys do?
I don't know. We found something in us. Matty Jane gave us that look. Bites his lips and stuff like that. You got to get into it.
There was 2 or 3 games and you were down 14-0 at the half. So what did Matty J say at the half?
Keep fighting. Keep fighting. He always, we were down at the half, he all came in, him and Tony Perry, they all be calm. Nothing to worry about. We're just going to keep fighting, keep playing our game. We're going to have that one clip that happened, and then the rest of the game going to change for us.
And when you got to the Valley Championship, when you knocked off Liberty, tell us about that one. How did that feel?
That was very exciting. That was the best feeling ever. That's all you want in high school football is to get that Valley Championship. Not state championship, but that's actually a Valley Championship. And all the hard work with the Water Series and everything that we had to overcome, that was the best part of it, winning the Valley Championship.
And everybody has a story, Nick. The thing is, you cannot forecast who's going to be the champion, all right? We had
I did have you number one.
Well, we had the material. We had the players where, I tell everybody that's kind of what we're thinking we're going to do. That's what we're supposed to do when you have that kind of talent. But there was something that happened when these young men, they matured, like he was talking about Clovis, where maybe, just maybe, I don't want to indict the whole program over all the years, but maybe in certain circumstances we might have cracked. These guys didn't crack really at all season. There was a sense that from a head coach's position that any second something's going to go our way and then we're back in this thing. So it's nice as a coach to sit back and watch these guys perform and make things happen, because with leaders like Vance, they refuse to die. And that's a quality that he needs to carry with him for the rest of his life. No matter what's happening to him, he knows he can get through it. And you can get through the other side, it's out there and it's all golden.
Well, Vance,
are you getting ready to cry, Nick? I mean, he's getting ready to cry, I think.
This is one of the good guys in the Valley. I love him.
He is, and we could personally get into the story, the book. And he could write a book one day. Seriously, he could write a book, a national bestseller that young kids and older kids alike would probably enjoy reading, because he's had that kind of life. But he found something I would like to share one thing while he's here before he goes off to college. There were a couple moments where he legitimately didn't want to play anymore. He was seriously questioning whether this was something he wanted to do anymore.
When was this part? Before the season?
A couple of times.
Yeah. Before we saw the season.
You came to Coach Mann.
Well, he reached out to a lot of people. You could see it. He wore it on his sleeve. He was depressed. He was hurting. And no matter what I said or anybody said, he had to make that decision on his own. You can only go so far with it. But the thing is, and I mean this truthfully, and I mean this on behalf of his mother, his father, Mike Ryan, myself, and everyone else, our superintendent of our schools, everybody, our principal, Lindsay Sanders, everybody who took a vested interest in Vance, he had to go find it on his own. But it was bigger than football to me. That's the thing that gets me emotional. His success is larger than football. Football was just a vehicle as a chance. But if we're going to lose him, forget football, I don't want to lose him to something other than his dreams of being in law enforcement.
It's so easy to lose, too.
It's so easy to lose. And for him to find it with the help of others, but to find it and to recapture that glow and that sparkle in his eye, it's the greatest thing I've ever been through. And that's why we, as all of us coaches and these players, that's why we go through this, because you got to get knocked all the way down and find it. And this is a guy, I'm telling everybody who watches this show, this is a guy, believe me, that he found that spark when that candle was dim. It was just barely flickering sometimes. And he found it, and he's glowing. He's going off to college. And we're going to visit Mike Ryan. We're going to get a road trip. We're going to go check him out. And he's a special young guy.
And you got the whole Edison community looking up for you now. So those little baby tigers, those little kitties, they look up to you like you're an NFL player. So they look to you. So you're the leader of the whole West Side now. So make us all proud. Good luck on the next level. Thank you. Vance Sams III, a good guy, and we're all wishing the best for him. Get off to a good start. Best of luck for you.
Thank you.
You did good, Coach.
Stugotz, this guy right here. Paisano.
All right. Forget about it.
Forget about it. Sticky's guy. Pag Meter.
Vinny the
Pag Meter.
over here. Ah.
Okay.
We'll take a break, Nick, and now we'll be back to wrap up the show.
Two. Welcome back. Hey, has Vance got it going on or what?
Incredible young man who has a bright future. I just like it, whether it's someone I coach or the young, talented boys and girls and young men and women that we meet, you and I, all over the valley in the world of high school athletics, junior high athletics. I always am drawn towards someone who has a plan, who has an idea of what they want to do. And it's clear to me that Vance is all about trying to be a success in his life, and I love it.
You think it's overall a good move for him, Humboldt State?
I do. I was talking with someone just the other night, and although Vance Sams, theoretically or hypothetically, if you will, could perform at other schools maybe on a higher level of football, college athletics, I think the good Lord has a way of just separating and putting people where they belong. And that's where he belongs. He's not the only one. I've got Joanne Murphy and Kai Williams also going to Humboldt State, and they're both outstanding, but maybe that's where they belong. Let's hope that works out. And just like you get kids that start complaining, oh, I should have been going to this college or that college. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's where you should be, so yes, to answer your question, I think it's going to work out great.
I'll tell you right now, I bet Humboldt State is going to find out. We got to go back to that Fresno area, that Frawley area, and get some more players. But they got some good ones going up there.
Oh yeah, our valley's loaded full of guys, and it's great to see colleges from all up and down the state in our town picking off quality student athletes.
The big talk in the valley here in the summer, Matt, has been the drought.
Oh.
And it's really when we've been talking about it, and the Pag Meters put it on Twitter. Fresno Unified has not been watering. Clovis Unified has. Clovis is very green. But I was thinking about it because now they're redoing some of the fields for Fresno Unified. I mean, in other words, if Fresno Unified started watering, they're watering dirt. You had to redo the fields, first of all, to get them back to par. Because by far, Clovis Unified has the better fields right now. Second to none. You can't compete with Clovis Unified. I don't know what it is, if they're watered or not. But now, if you guys redo the fields like you're gonna, then you start watering, you're back to par.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the Fresno Unified School District followed the drought rules.
Yeah.
Whether they knew or they didn't know about some clause in there for safety on playing fields is not material. What's material is that Clovis filed apparently for their injunction, if you will, to keep those fields of play. But it's interesting to me, I don't care so much only about the fields. I'm driving by their campuses. It looks to me like the grounds around the parking lot, everything else sure looks plush and
You
green.
would think you're in Washington.
So I don't know how exactly everyone does it. I mean, I know how I do it at my house, and I get 2 days a week to water, and we water 2 days a week. It did cost me a lot because I put brand new landscaping in my backyard for the first time. I had a dirt field in my backyard forever.
How's it working out?
It's all going to die. I mean, is the government going to come in and rearburse me for this? No.
They want you to put fake grass in.
When we finally do finish that big bullet train, instead of building more dams and fixing things up, are they going to let me ride the train for free because I spent $2,700 in my backyard that was flushed down the toilet because of the drought?
Yeah.
Don't think so. Not a good subject. I get off track here because that one really burns me. That whole water deal is beside myself. I don't know how many people are actually going to participate in this fantasy train deal up and down 40 miles of track. But when it's all said and done, the money, I believe, wholeheartedly could have been spent for much more worthwhile things, i.e. water storage.
Well,
This is what you and I do. We go in sports, but then we get into some of this other stuff.
When you get done with coaching, you need to run for office. Because I totally agree with that.
It doesn't. We have people in office that are saying this, and it's just
we live
the
in
message
California,
is.
it's tough.
I don't know how that ever. I don't ever remember seeing this thing up for debate on this whole bullet train deal. Somehow they snuck one past me.
Yeah, it's just not a great time. We had plenty of water. People would say, "Hey, it's great bringing in jobs," but I think jobs equal water equal ag, and just trickles down. And we got to figure out when the next time
let me get this straight.
Can we keep the water?
So construction of water storage doesn't bring in work?
It sure does. Exactly.
I would argue that brings in.
Well, it brings in way more jobs because it brings into all the building around going on. It needs water. The ag world needs water. Everybody needs water. And I've said it before. Since Jesus was in high school, we get 6 to 12 inches of rain, and we haven't the last couple of years, and we weren't prepared for it. This is a man-made problem in my book because we haven't done anything to the dams since 1965. See, Matt's right. We throw a little sports/valley coverage. And speaking of, I don't know if this is a sport or not. You've been in the wild water adventures lately, okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How are they doing it with a water shortage? And if that's recycled water, I don't want to be there. But have you seen some marketing campaign where they have the prettiest families? They got mom who's a hot blonde, dad who's 26 years old, who just came out of GQ. You got 3 beautiful kids out in the. We're talking about the marketing on TV, and you're like, wow, I got to get myself over there. Have you been to Wild Water Adventure place?
Yes, I have.
And what are the crowds like to me? I mean, to you?
Do I have to repeat myself? They're good people, honest, hardworking people, but you're not seeing.
You're not seeing.
You're seeing a lot of tattoos. Number one, a lot of
it's a good
tats.
marketing campaign.
I don't see all that tats, and I don't see all the cut off jean shorts and everything on their little commercials.
Now, is it recycled water? Because how are they doing it?
They're probably recycling water. They
That's
do have
not
filter.
good.
Well, they come on now. We're trying. Do we want to lose all opportunities of any sponsorship at all? They're doing a heck of a job out there. I'm sure they have filtration processes and chemicals involved that really keep it together.
And then that's when you get home at night and you can't see anything because you got so much chlorine. I probably have, out of 2 gallons, you probably got 1 gallon of chlorine for every
I don't
2 gallons
know
of
how
water.
most people, because I never wear the water sock that you carry on your foot. I can't stand in the lines because your feet start to burn.
You have to have feet.
And then you get ready to go on the deal and you take off your little flip-flops or whatever, unless you have those water socks that you like to wear, those water socks.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, they are. I don't have a pair, though. And so then you got to go down the ride. And
Only
then
$4
you
if you go to Rite Aid,
get
you
concerned
get
as you go
$4.
through the tunnel and you drop your sandals and then you're done.
How about the security part? You got your keys in your wallet and you just slip it inside your tennis shoes. That's the greatest security deal ever. No one ever looks inside that.
That's foolproof. Speaking of security, let's talk about the greatest local news story when it comes down to burglary with the local icon Bernard Berrien.
Unbelievable.
That is an unbelievable story. I mean,
he just put a security system in. Maybe
his house. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, his house was burglarized twice, And he figured, I'm going to put a security camera system in. And he was at a party with a lot of his friends, and the guy that played football with in college, his good friend, boy, I gotta think of his name.
Fontenot?
Fontenot, yes. And the last name Fontenot.
Yeah.
And the guy kind of excused himself. Okay, guys, I gotta go, because they were all at this party away from Bernard's house. And Bernard had set up this hot-shot security system that would notify his cell phone when the alarms go, silent alarms. And he got the alarm on his phone, and he picked it up, and he's watching. And there in his master bedroom is his buddy, Mr. Fontenot.
Let me just tell you.
How would that make you feel?
How big is that security system going to be? I guaranteed today, the next week, that thing is off the charts. Hey, how much is that thing? Because, Matt does come over to my house a lot. He just... I'm missing a few autographed baseballs.
Well, yeah, you need that. But the thing is, it's been around forever, but you're absolutely right. Because of this exposure and this story, how many of us now want to have full access while we're away to go check our camera and find out,
but I'm always missing
because most of the time, you got to believe a lot of that's inside jobs, too. I think.
Yeah, but I'm missing cookies and ice cream when you come over.
Oh, I confess. And was that a problem? Huh?
No.
Between the lemonade, the Pepsis, and the cookies, and the drumsticks, you might as well.
I do feed them.
You do well. You do well.
I'm old school Italian. I believe in food.
It's been a good day. Yeah. Good deal. Good show.
So now this is the dead time for football.
Well, we're not done yet. We're still going.
We're still going, but okay. I'm saying this is the dead time for football.
It's not dead time. It is sport-specific dead time. You can still get in the weight room. You can still get out and condition your athletes.
Okay, so most teams are either taking a break now. Coaches are probably refueling their jets. They're trying to say, okay, because August 3rd, it's on.
Everyone has a different way they like to prepare. So some schools are going to push right through all the way up to August and continue to get them out there running, doing whatever they do. And some of us are like, I'm giving the kids a little break now and enjoy the last week or two of their
I think it's a great move. I think it's a great move because the key is if everyone makes the playoffs, you got to have legs by week 8, 9, 10, right?
And that's interesting you said that too, because everybody wants, that's competing for that prize, wants to try to win them all, and that's the plan every year. But there's always that thing in the back of your head that everybody makes the playoffs. So what's it all about? Improving, keeping fresh, taking care of your young student athletes. So maybe I should backtrack what I said in the first part of the show. Maybe that's a real good thing that everyone makes the playoffs.
It just depends on what kind of schedule you have. If you have a 10-game schedule, are you going to have enough soldiers for the first week of the playoffs? Or are you going to have, maybe it's got to be a little bit of both.
You got to sprinkle in a little bit there, but no, we go full out, gas pedal to the floor, and we want to play the best. I mean, Bakersfield might win the state championship again. You want those guys on your schedule, right? Liberty's playing Mission Viejo. They're arguably always a top 25, 30 team in the state. Yeah. That team, is it Bakersfield or one of those schools is playing one of the top teams out of the state area?
I think it's Bakersfield.
Why not? There's no BCS poll or championship bowl playoff thing that's going to vote me in whether I won them all or lost a couple on the way.
The only problem with high school, though, high school kids don't travel like college kids. Yeah. It's hard to get a team, for anything past the grapevine. This is why I'm pushing for the Central Valley, Central section to play up north instead of south. I don't want anyone to go past the grapevine if you don't have to. It's
man, that's true. I mean, it's hard to house a bunch of young men, take a bus ride all the way down to San Diego, sleep over, get up, do all that action, and
they're not used to it. You've been playing games. You go to Sunnyside, McLean, or Buchanan. Really, those are your big three stadiums.
And I'll go on record and tell you that's the only reason we lost that game.
I watched that game.
That's my excuse.
Plus, it rained. That couldn't happen.
Yeah, we had some rain. We had some injuries, and we had some overnight stay. And I think we ate every last pound of bacon the whole city of San Diego had.
Your game
for breakfast that morning.
Because I was all over you. The Pag Meter said all week, you got to think out of the box, do something different. You didn't because you had an injury. You had AJ Greeley went out and first play of the game, and that changed everything.
Yep.
You break my microphone.
Yeah, he was only our punter, our holder on place kicker. Yeah. He was going to be our starting actual wildcat or running back / safety. He was pretty valuable to our club. But I must say, those young guys stepped in and held up really well.
This year, the Edison Tigers, you have a target on your back. Yeah, it's different playing coming in and maybe, trying to get to that top of the mountain. Well, you're at the mountain now. People want to take you down. You're the Valley champs. And as I tell people, you almost can't have you can't have a bad game. You can't have a bad quarter. You got kids now. People are looking at the Edison Tiger. You've been circled on every game on your schedule. And that's tough to play sometimes.
It is, but once again, once the ball is kicked off and the game starts,
everything.
all that kind of goes, all the hype and all of the screaming and hollering. Eventually, you have to play, and in my opinion, everyone has to bring that energy, bring that aura of invincibility to the game. But once the game starts, you're either a tough guy or you're not, and whether we had a target on our back or not, it's going too hard. Thinking too far forward into what you're trying to do sometimes hurts you.
The other one that just drives me nuts, let's say you lose 28-27. That 1 point is going to make you sleep less on a Friday, Saturday night. 1 point makes the other team thinking they're better than the other team. Isn't that weird how sports is? 1 point changes your week of practice. You're confident. Maybe your team comes in a little mopey on Monday because they lost. If they win 28-27, we won. Oh, you lost 28-27.
There's no doubt.
Is that unbelievable in sports?
It just comes. Come on. What do they say? Right?
Yeah. One play here and there
comes down to this. But it's a lot easier to coach this as opposed to this.
48-0. You mean?
Fellas, I got there. How do you approach your guys? Guys, we're okay. We're all right. Those close wins.
Yeah.
Kill you, and you're right. You don't sleep much, and it's a loss. A loss is a loss. But I can build off of those a lot easier than I can build off of a bad loss.
Yeah, it's exciting. It is football season. By the time we get back here for our next show, you're going on a little vacation, as you should, and I think most coaches and players are. August 3rd, and so is August 10th? Full day of gear, or how do you work that?
Oh yeah, we'll be in full gear before that, obviously. But you're
so you don't have to have a certain many days anymore?
No, there's an assimilation process, but we'll be in gear. That next week is our first scrimmage game.
Who are you scrimmaging against?
Lemoore, and that's a full scrimmage game, and then everyone that week.
What day is that? You remember?
That's the 20th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. There's games all over the valley in August, and then the following week, guess what? Here we go, August 28th. 27th for some of the 2 or 3 Thursday games. The 28th is when we open up. But the 28th, and then it is on, like Donkey Kong. It's full go.
Open up against the Buchanan Bears.
Yes.
New and improved team who, again, target on the Edison Tigers' back. They remember from last year. It was a great
I can't wait for this year because we're going to play in like 9 different stadiums this year. I mean,
Are you really?
Oh, yeah. We're in every stadium in this town.
So you don't really have a home field?
No, there's no home field with us.
It used to be Sunnyside, but it's really...
Well, it's Sunnyside or McLean. And this year...
Chancey now.
Yeah, so between Chancey, Sunnyside, McLean.
Buchanan.
We're on the road in the brand new revamped Bakersfield Stadium. Buchanan's at home, by the way. That'll be at McLean.
Okay. You play Buchanan twice? Buchanan Stadium or just once?
We don't play at Buchanan Stadium at all.
Oh, wow.
No, we go off to Merced.
Oh, Merced.
And we play both Madera schools at home, one at Sunnyside, one at McLean, or either way. And we play Bullard at Chancey.
What do you think of Chancey?
Sanger, the greatest place on earth to go play a high school game.
Chancey now, if you're not familiar, if you go to a baseball game, a lot of times it's dirt. So you're 3rd and 8, and you're at the shortstop, and you got dirt, and you're trying to, sometimes the cleats don't work.
That's the bad part of it. That side of the field, when you hit to the infield, the shortstop area, as you said.
It's not the greatest place to watch a game either.
No, but what baffles me, though, is I watch the Fuego. I've watched soccer matches out there.
It's way out there, isn't it?
But it's all grass for them. How come they can't make the football field be grass like that?
Well, they did one year. Somebody donated. I think it was
really. Yeah,
somebody donated all the grass. But try to do a game sometime on the radio when it's 1st and goal and you're 300 yards on the other end, and who has the ball and you can't see anything. So it's not the greatest place. And I'm hoping they do a great job because as a high school kid, if you want a Pepsi and popcorn, it's $28.50. Okay. It's just very expensive.
That is the downside, the concession deal.
Yeah. Did you want ice for that? You got to be $31.50. Mm-hmm. How about a cup? That's $34.50. What? So it gets expensive. Well,
you are correct.
I want to thank you, Vance Sams III, coming on in tonight. I think he's going to do great at Humboldt State, and a lot of these kids that'll go away, Matt. might get homesick, but I think it's easier now. You got your phones, you got Skyping, you got all these different things where you can talk to your parents.
Yep.
You could talk to your girlfriend, and they're right there. The old days is you had to call in, you had long distance for 1 minute.
I mean, shoot, you're right. Technology, man. Up Periscope, and I'm doing a live video feed of myself. Hi, Mom, Dad. They're watching. They're asking me questions. It is a lot different.
We're going to try it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Well, next time we see you, it'll be the first week of football. Nick Papagni, the Pag Meter, Matty J, Matt Johnson. We'll see you again. Thanks for joining us. You going to do your thing? You going to say get in the game, or are you going to look at this?
Get in the game.
Thank you. Bye-bye. You forgot.
I did forget.
Your life is intertwined with water. It grows the food you eat, powers the world, and helps discover the fuel to move. You use water every day. We move water every day. You may know the basic equipment you need on your job, but when you're challenged by liquid handling, you need an experienced team backed by skilled engineers. That's part of what we call liquid ingenuity, and it's what differentiates Rain for Rent. Liquid ingenuity is experience. Planning is backed by skilled engineers and specialized teams who understand your industry. Liquid ingenuity is safety. Rain for Rent's flexible team adapts to changes and helps mitigate your risks. Liquid ingenuity is effectiveness. Projects are done right the first time, on time, with the best filtration and pumping systems designed to meet your needs. Liquid ingenuity is innovation. Rain for Rent is working to redefine what is expected from a liquids handling provider by developing new equipment and harnessing technology. Liquid ingenuity is equipment. Rain for Rent's complete line of pumps, tanks, filtration units, spill guards, and pipe are built to handle your toughest jobs in the most demanding environments. The equipment is designed tough because you depend on it. And you aren't the only one. Experts in water and wastewater, construction, up, mid, and downstream petroleum, manufacturing, mining, agriculture, power, disaster relief, and remediation all choose Rain for Rent. That's why Rain for Rent employs the best to make your choice easy. In this busy world, when you find yourself seeking an experienced, effective solution from someone who understands your industry needs, count on Rain for Rent.